Have you ever looked in the mirror and only managed to see what's wrong? Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, you're never enough? This is the story of a man who lived trapped in his own distorted image until he discovered that the problem was never him. Daniel woke up every day at 6 in the morning, and the first thing he did was look at his bathroom mirror. And every single day, without exception, what he saw made him sigh deeply and lower his head. Another wrinkle here, he thought. I'm going bald. Why is my nose like this? He didn't see a 32-year-old man, hardworking, honest. He only saw flaws stacked in the shape of a person. At work in downtown Portland, Daniel was competent. His colleagues respected him. But when his boss praised a project, he looked away. Just got lucky, he mumbled. When someone invited him to lunch, he declined. They're just being polite. They don't really want my company. At night, scrolling through social media, he saw other people living perfect lives, perfect bodies, perfect relationships. And there he was, alone, imperfect, invisible. His sister, Rachel, tried to help. Daniel, you need to value yourself more. He just smiled half-heartedly. You don't understand, Rachel. You were always the pretty one in the family, the confident one. I'm just me. His voice carried a resignation that broke the heart of anyone who heard it. 5 years ago, he had lost a promotion, not because he wasn't qualified, but because in the interview, when they asked about his strengths, he stuttered, looked away, and said he tried to do his best. The position went to someone less experienced, but who knew how to sell themselves since then. Daniel decided he simply wasn't good enough. One Saturday afternoon, the bathroom mirror broke. A thin crack ran across the glass from corner to corner. Daniel stood there, staring at his image split in two, and something inside him hurt. It was as if the mirror confirmed what he had always thought. Even his reflection was broken. Rachel, who was visiting, saw the scene. I'll call Mr. Thompson to fix it, she said, grabbing her phone. Mr. Thompson was a craftsman from the neighborhood, a gentleman in his 70s who repaired furniture and did woodwork. Everyone knew him, not just for his talent with his hands, but for the gentle way he treated people. When Mr. Thompson arrived Sunday morning, Daniel was dejected. Sorry to bother you on the weekend, he said. The old craftsman smiled. Son, fixing things is what gives meaning to my days. It's no bother. He examined the mirror, ran his hand over the crack, and remained silent for a moment. You know, I can just replace the glass. But I have a better suggestion. Daniel raised his eyebrows. How long has this mirror been here? Asked Mr. Thompson. Since I moved in. About 10 years, Daniel replied. The craftsman nodded. 10 years is a long time. You know what happens to old mirrors? They create a layer, an almost invisible film. Dust, humidity, air residue. We don't notice because it happens slowly, day after day. But that layer changes how the image appears, gets a bit hazy, a bit distorted. We look and think we're seeing the truth, but we're seeing through a dirty filter. Daniel felt something stir inside his chest. A dirty filter. He repeated quietly. Exactly, said Mr. Thompson, carefully removing the mirror from the wall. Let me take this one and put a new one in for you. No extra charge. Consider it a gift from someone who has lived long enough to know that sometimes we need to change our lenses. That week, Daniel used the small portable mirror he kept in a drawer. It was strange, different, but on a Tuesday, coming home from work, Mr. Thompson was at the apartment building entrance with a wrap mirror. Came to install it personally. He said, important works deserve attention. When Mr. Thompson finished mounting the new mirror on the wall, Daniel hesitated to look. What if it was the same thing? What if the problem was never the mirror, but him? The craftsman noticed. Go ahead. Look. Daniel took the steps forward and raised his eyes. The man staring back at him had tired eyes. Yes, some expression lines. Yes. But he also had a kind gaze. A mouth that had smiled a lot, even if lately it hadn't. Shoulders that carried responsibilities. hands that worked hard. Daniel blinked. For the first time in years, he didn't see a list of flaws. He saw a person. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss stories that can change how you see life. It's different, he whispered. Mr. Thompson, putting away his tools, spoke without looking back. It's not the mirror. That's different. Daniel, it's that now you're seeing without the filter. You know how many people spend their entire lives looking through dirty mirrors? Mirrors that someone placed in their heads when they were children. Mirrors made of criticism, comparisons, bad moments that became the only lens they used to see themselves. How do I clean these mirrors? Asked Daniel. His voice choked. The old craftsman finally turned around. Sometimes you can't clean them. Sometimes you need to throw them away and get a new one. And you know how you do that. Daniel shook his head. You stop believing everything that dirty mirrors showed you. You question it. You seek other opinions, other perspectives. You let the good people in your life show you who you really are. And then, slowly, you replace the internal mirror. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about how many times he had blindly believed the distorted image of himself. How many opportunities he had let pass. How many compliments he had dismissed the next day. When his boss praised a report he had done. Instead of looking away, Daniel took a deep breath and said, "Thank you. I worked really hard on this project." The words came out shaky, but they came out. When a colleague invited him to play basketball over the weekend, he almost said no. The old voice in his head started, "They don't really want you there." But Daniel stopped. He looked at his colleague, who was smiling genuinely, waiting for an answer. Maybe it's true. Maybe he really wants me to go. He thought, "Yeah, I'll be there." He responded. On Saturday, playing basketball at the local court in Selwood, Daniel missed passes and got beaten on defense a few times. But he also laughed. He also talked. He was also hugged when his team scored. And when he got home, sweaty and tired, he looked in the new mirror and smiled. A small smile, but real. Rachel noticed the change. "You're different," she said on a visit. "I'm trying to see myself differently," he replied. And he told her about the mirror, about Mr. Thompson, about the dirty filter. She listened with tears in her eyes. "You know, Daniel, I was never as confident as you think. I just learned not to let the dirty mirror control me. But it's a daily struggle for everyone." The following months weren't magical. Daniel didn't wake up one day transformed into another person, but he started questioning automatic thoughts. When his mind said you're not good enough, he stopped and asked, "Is this true, or is it the dirty mirror talking?" When he saw perfect photos on social media, he remembered he was only seeing the polished surface, not the complete reality. He went back to taking guitar lessons, something he had abandoned at 20 because he had no talent. He discovered that talent mattered less than persistence. He started accepting more invitations. Some events were boring, others were great, but all of them reminded him that he deserved to be present and in a work meeting. When they opened management positions, Daniel took a deep breath and applied. In the interview, when they asked about his strengths, he didn't stutter. He didn't look away. "I'm dedicated. I learn fast. And I work well in teams. I've had moments when I doubted myself, but I learned that self-doubt isn't the same thing as lack of ability, and I'm ready for this challenge." He didn't get the position, but for the first time, he didn't feel like the problem was him being insufficient. The company chose someone with more leadership experience, and that was okay. There would be other opportunities. A year after the day the mirror broke, Daniel was different. Not perfect. He still had bad days, still fought against the critical inner voice. But now he knew the voice was just an echo, not an absolute truth. One afternoon, he went to visit Mr. Thompson at his workshop in Northeast Portland. The craftsman was sanding an old chair. "I came to say thank you," said Daniel. The old man raised his eyes and smiled. "For the mirror? No. For teaching me that I was looking through the wrong glass my whole life." Mr. Thompson put down the sandpaper and wiped his hands. "Son, I just replaced a mirror. The one who did the hard work was you. Replacing the mirror on the wall is easy. Replacing the mirror in your mind, that takes work. Today, Daniel still looks at himself in the mirror every morning. But what he sees is different. He sees a man who's trying, who's growing, who has value, not because he's perfect, but because he's real. And when the old voice tries to come back, whispering criticism, he takes a deep breath and remembers, that's the dirty mirror. I don't need it anymore. The question that remains is, what mirror are you using to see yourself? Is it a clean mirror, showing your true image? Or is it a dirty mirror, covered in old criticism, unfair comparisons, bad moments that you turned into identity? Because the good news is that you can replace the mirror. It won't be quick. It won't be easy, but it's possible. Start today. Question automatic negative thoughts about yourself. Ask, is this true or is it just a dirty filter? See people who show you who you really are, not who you fear you are. Accept compliments without dismissing them. Try new things without expecting to be perfect. And remember, you are not the sum of your flaws. You are a complete, complex person who deserves to be seen with clarity. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to receive more stories that can help you replace the dirty mirrors in your life with a truer vision of who you are. Now it's your turn to look in the mirror and ask, what do you really see? And more importantly, is it time to replace the glass?